of course you know, but I'm from John Barrow over there. So I understand it. But I got some South End guys in here somewhere? Westside guys? Some Southwest Little Rock? East End in the building? I know about all that. I know your parents. I probably know your cousins. I know your uncles. I probably know your grandparents, or they know me, or know my family. The biggest reason I wanted to come here and why this is such a great job, think about it. You're a historic school. 32 state championships, 2 national championships. But the problem is, it's been over a decade since it's been winning tradition here. We got to bring it back. But it starts with you. It starts with you holding yourselves accountable. It starts with you coming down here every day willing to put the work in. It starts with you getting other guys out that you know should be playing, but just working the hallway. Y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Everybody always talk about, oh man, this the coach is this, the coach is that. But it starts with the athletes. Everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, I can guarantee you a few things. I'm going to go hard for you every day. I'm going to love you. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to help you be successful. Now, you guys are fortunate. You got some coaches that have already been here putting the work in. And I ask these guys to trust me just like I'm going to ask you to trust me to get it done. We're going to do this thing together. Y'all ever heard the term 10 toes down?
Yes, sir.
I'm 10 toes down, man. I'm not going to lead you into any battle that I'm not confident about. I'm ready to go to war for you guys. I'm ready to go to war for what you need and what you want. Now, you got to trust me. And I'm asking you guys to trust me because I'm the head coach, but that means nothing. I'm just a steward of these guys' program. Coaches that play here, this is their program. I'm just a steward at this moment. Everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
You got to overcome adversity, man. You guys, the seniors, that's about to be seniors, you had a tough go with it. But the tide is going to change. And the cities, they're investing in the tide changing. All that construction going on over here, why y'all think they're doing it? For you guys. They want it to be successful. But in order to do that, you guys got to come out and do it the right way. What does that mean? We're going to follow a dime principle. What does dime mean, coach? We're going to follow discipline, investment, mental toughness, and extra effort. We're going to live by those principles. And that's what's going to change the culture around here. But we got all this red and stuff on and blue and stuff on. And at the end of the day, give you time to adjust. But I prefer black, white, gray, or something with central colors on it. We have to take pride in where we are. Everybody understand it?
Yes, sir.
So, I love red. Red and black, favorite colors. But that's not the school colors. So we're going to wear black, white, gray, or something with the school logo on it. Everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
Got to take pride in what we do. I want you guys to get after it today. Go to work, because we got to go to work in here as well as we got to go out there. I'll be getting to you guys about schedules, but we got to get to it and start going a little bit after school here soon. But when I get that worked out, I will relay that message to you guys. Everybody understand that what that looks like is going to work out here, and then we're going to make sure we start installing offense and defense more and more a little bit after school. Everybody got it?
Yes, sir.
Repeat after me. I am you.
I am you.
You are me.
You are me.
We are one.
We are one.
Family.
Family.
Tigers on 3. 1, 2, 3, 5.
Yo, welcome back. We are live on this ice out day. Not in the bling bling way the Cash Money would say it, but welcome back. We are live. Interview session back in full effect. Second interview of 2026. We switch it up just a little bit. We done bought y'all players the first 3 interviews. We did my boy, Caleb Tucker. We did my other nephew, Jermaine Penny. Last time we did my other nephew, Kevin Kevo Ellis. But now, my homeboy, my brother, J-Bo been hitting me up for over a year. Yo, G, you got to come interview him. G, you got to talk to him. You got to holler at him. I'm like, hey, I'm ready whenever y'all are. So, fortunately, bro was able to make it back from Arkadelphia. We was able to get everything situated and set up. As y'all can see, if y'all don't know where I'm at, I'm live in the weight room of the historic Little Rock Central Tigers. I played here when I went to J Fair So this is a very good moment. A lot of my good friends went here and graduated from here. History from top to bottom, whether it's football or basketball. And I'm going to get into a lot of that with this young man that we have coming up. And so, again, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. We're about to chop it up. We're about to have a real good conversation just about his path from being a football player at Arkansas State. We're going to go back and talk about his path in high school, talk about his growing up a little bit, talk about his time being a graduate assistant, whether he had aspirations of going pro or anything like that. He's been to Lancaster, Texas. He's been to Searcy. He's also been at Conway just recently, where he helped lead them to 3 semifinals, and now he's trying to rebuild the roar and rebuild the tradition of the Little Rock Central Tigers. Without further ado, I give you head football coach, Coach Rob, a.k.a. Coach Robinson.
What's up, bro?
What up, Coach?
What's up?
For sure, man. Good to meet you.
Likewise.
Coach Rob, what's the deal, bro?
Nothing much, man. Hey, I'm glad we was able to make this happen, man. When J-Bo hit me up, I was like, man, I love nothing more than to talk to my brother, man. I watched some of your stuff. It's real good stuff, man. I like what you're doing in the community. I like how you uplifting these young brothers. Man, stuff like that inspire me every time.
I appreciate it, bro. I definitely appreciate it. So, man, look, this weight room is miraculous, bro. It's like, man, I'm looking at how y'all got y'all names on everything. The tiger, like a tiger's in the backdrop on the wall. Everything is on the weights. I'm looking at the indoor facility. What are you bringing back as far as the culture of Central? Because when I played here, Central weight room was underground.
Yeah. Formerly known as the dungeon, man. The dungeon, y'all. Yeah.
And so, what's the new culture, but also mixed with some of the old culture of winning?
Yeah.
That you're trying to bring here, because this is amazing, man. I love this.
Yeah, man. My first and foremost, man, long time coming, right? You know, they probably should have had this 20 years ago or something like it, man. But, you know, dudes was getting it out the mud, making it happen by any means necessary. And, you know, you still got to have some of that grit in you to play this game of football. Football is physical. But, man, over time, man, you get tired of working out in a facility that has no central heat in the air, man.
Thanks.
You get tired of working out in a facility that don't have really clean running water. So, you know, these kids deserve this. Like, you know, to nobody's fault or dismay, you know, it's right on time, right? You know, when I got the job, man, we were practicing on 50 yards of field, and we were still working out down there in the dungeon. But it is what it is, man, because, you know, I figured, man, you know, if you can really, you know, as we would say, if you could thug it out, right?
Exactly.
For a few years, man, you know, joy is to come in the morning, man. Yeah, we finally getting to that point, and man, you could just feel it already that the culture, and you know, you could just tell that the passion, the morale, everything's just going up, bro.
Man, listen, when you walk in and you see the way that y'all indoor look just at the beginning of where it have the state champions and national champions, because as of recently, Central has fallen on some hard times, but when people can walk in and see the luster that used to be here,
right,
and say, I want to be a part of that, how does that make you feel going into, this is your 3rd year going into?
Yeah. Man, first of all, I'm a Little Rock cat, man. I'm from right over there in John Barrow, man. Yeah, I'm from John Barrow, man. Yeah, I grew up on Lehigh, man. I went to Romine, I went to Henderson, you know, so, you know, when I was coming up, Central was everything. They was always competitive. And then even when I was in school, that's when they won those back-to-back state championships. And those were my homeboys on that team. So
Fred Bledsoe, R.I.P. to bro.
Yeah, R.I.P., man. But, man, you can't, man, when I was a kid, you know, coming to a Central game was like the closest thing to a college game that we got, you know, other than driving to UCA to go see a game, other than driving to Fayetteville to see a game, which, you know, my family rarely did. Man, if you wanted to see some good football in a packed stadium, you come over here to Little Rock Central. And, you know, when I played for the Westside Steelers, Coach Howard used to bring us over here all the time.
Hey, yo, we got to cut the energy.
Don't do that.
For the Steelers.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Arkansas Cardinal Nation.
I got you. Hey, good people.
Yeah, go ahead, though, bro.
Yeah, man. So, you know, that legacy and tradition, right?
Yes.
You know, some of these kids, man, they weren't born when that stuff was happening. But when they walk in this building, they can see all that, man, it just gives them something to aspire to. They always hear about it, But to be able to physically see it, man, it just piques your interest, and you gotta wanna get back to that point, and you gotta try to strive to make your mark. If I'm one of those kids and I'm looking up there on that wall and I see all those legends on that wall, I would be thinking to myself, how do I get up there? I mean, me, even as a coach, you know, even if they don't, man, what a dream it would be for me to do something so special that they would think to put me on the wall.
So, being from here, did you go to Little Rock Central or did you go to a different high school here?
No, man, I actually went to the rival school, which not about to be a school anymore. I went to Little Rock Hall, man. But, you know, it was zone back then. So wherever you was zoned to, that's pretty much where you went.
Where you had to go?
Yeah, you had a few guys that, you know, made some things shake, but for the most part, like wherever you was zoned, that's where it was. And with my parents, man, you know, if you go there in the 9th grade, that's where you
That's what you said.
Yeah, that's where you gonna be.
That's how my mom was, because originally, before I went to Fair,
Okay.
I was accepted. Well, I was trying to go to Park.
Right.
Because back then, what everybody say, Parkview got all the girls.
Oh yeah, all the time. All the time.
Is I tried to go to Parkview, and they didn't have any room for it.
Gotcha.
So I ended up going to Fair, and I was there with Ty Forte and
Yeah.
Cedric Kyle,
Man.
Warren Ayers,
Yeah, man.
all them, Big Word, Peter Bro as well. So I was there with them, and I was playing football.
Yeah.
Parkview was known for
Basketball. They were basketball still. Yeah, they was basketball still.
Until recently,
Yeah,
they
man.
was basketball.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you know, if I'm playing football, then I may as well say it's fair, because
Oh yeah.
we're winning.
Killing it in the ZT, man. They was running that DT back then, man.
Exactly.
Them dudes was killing it, man.
I mean, it's so, even when I got accepted to Parkview, my mom was like, well, you want to go? You got your own choice to make. I was like, man, I'm going to go ahead and say, here, I done made friends here, X, Y, and Z. So I ended up staying at Fair, man, got a state championship, went to a semifinals my senior year, didn't work out.
Yeah.
But, you know, all in all, it was a great spirit, like a great
yeah.
spirit. Like, you know, you didn't see the mass turnover like you do
Yeah.
a lot of times now. So, but let's take it back, man. You grew up playing for the Westside Steelers, Coach Howard.
Yep.
Huge traditional program. What positions, like, did you play over there? What is something that Coach Howard helped impart to you that you carry to this day that you give to your players?
Man, so, you know, thinking back on that time, right? You know, if you play Little League football in the city, man, if you a baller, like you become one of those dudes. You know, that's how you meet everybody, right? You know, when I was coming up, you know, you had me and Tavares Wilson, which T-Dub was probably one of the best running backs to ever come through Arkansas, and that people forget about. But, man, that joker took a championship to every middle school in the city, right? So you had me and him over there. You had Lil Pooh and them playing for the Falcons, man. Them used to play for the Cougars and stuff like that. You just had dudes playing all over the city, man. It was just dudes balling. But, yeah, man, Coach Howard, Coach T, Coach Bruce, man, Cookie Man, which is my cousin, and who got me on the team, man. It was one of those times where, no, not Taylor, not that Cookie Man. No, Scott Chambers, yeah. Yeah, used to sell the cookies for real, yeah, man. But those dudes, man, you talking about black men just, you know, taking time out of their day to do for young black boys, right? You know, they actually showed that they cared. I remember them walking into the elementaries, just coming to recruit kids to come play for the team. And just to see those dudes in leadership roles was always something that I was impressed with. And then also, man, just those jokers pouring into us, believing in us. You know, sometimes kids that have clothes, kids that have nothing to eat, man, they made sure the cats were taken care of.
Okay. And so, how are you imparting what you got from them into the program now that you're able to give back? Now, albeit on a larger scale.
Yeah, right.
But how are you able to impart what you got from them into some of the kids now that you have?
So man, let's talk about this first, right? So, man, when I look back on that, after leaving those guys, that was probably the last time that I had a black head coach, a black staff. Because when I got to middle school, you know, other than basketball, I had Coach Louis Lewis over here at Henderson, but, you know, our head football coach was Coach Grant, white guy.
Yep.
When I got to Hall, man, I played basketball, baseball, and football. My head coach in basketball was Coach Searcy. My head coach in football was Coach Daniels. My head coach in baseball was Coach Youngblood. Now, while all these dudes, they were great men. You know, they did things for us. They were there for us. Man, it always, you know, just bothered me that, you know, we were in seemingly a black school district, and none of the guys that were in leadership roles looked like me. Now, there was always a dude that looked like me that was the man beside the man, the dude doing the dirty work, the dude, what I'm saying, getting the kids to act right, the dude that really knew the X's and O's or, just knew how to get us going the right way. Yeah, right. And they did those jobs, man. And sometimes it was a thankless job, right? They did the job, they got us there, they got us home, but they rarely got credit for it. And if they did, it took years before they finally got their opportunity, right? So that's what made me want to come back. One, not only to be able to show representation, of a black man in leadership, but also get these kids game on everything that I went through, and that no matter your circumstance, no matter your size or stature, you know what I'm saying, work hard, trust in God, proper timing, and then everything that you want can be right there in front of you.
So you was able to take your circumstances from John Barrow
Yep.
to Hall, and then eventually you was able to go to Arkansas State.
Yep.
What was that like playing at a D1 college, and like was that the best offer that you had, or so was it a relationship with a coach that made you want to go there, or what was it that made you say, you know what, Arkansas State is the place that I want to make home?
Man, crazy story, right? So, man, my senior year of football, I had, over 1,100 yards rushing. I had over 400 yards receiving. I had over 1,900 all-purpose yards with punt returns and kickoff returns. But I was 5'5", 155, so I was getting it. But, we weren't very good back then. I think we won like 4 games, went 4-6. Yeah, well, what I was saying is, yeah, man, I was balling. And so at that point, we were still on DVDs, right? You got to package your DVD, try to send it to coaches. And me, man, like I was one of those kids that was real unfamiliar with the camp game. And even when I found out about it, Mom Dukes was like, I can't afford it, right? So I played baseball in the summertime. I played baseball in the summertime. And like I said, I did it all. But, man, I reached out to everybody. I mean, OBU told me no. Henderson told me no. UAPB told me no, but I might be able to walk on. And so I never forget, man. And this guy, man, forever, forever indebted just because of his wisdom. He was a neighbor of mine, and he worked for Channel 7 News, Mr. McDonough. Matter of fact, his daughters went to school over here at Central. Mr. McDonough was my neighbor, and Mr. McDonough was like, man, I think you can go play at Arkansas State, because he used to go do all the athletic filming, for the news reels, after games on Saturdays, after games on Fridays. So he kind of knew the talent levels and stuff like that. He's like, man, I think you can go up there and fit in. You can play with them boys. I done seen you play. I've been in a few day games. I think you can get up there and play. And I'm thinking like, okay, if I'm going to walk on, this was my mentality, because when you think you balling, I've been balling since Little League. I've been balling in middle school. And for me, I felt like I was pretty good in high school. But, into the world, you 5'5", 155. So you don't look good on paper, right?
If you walking on, you got to be.
Right. So for me, it was, if I'm going to walk on, I'm walking on 2 places. That's either going to be U of A or that's going to be Arkansas State.
Gotcha.
And so the connect was David Gunn. Lil Rock McClellan.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He was Lil Rock McClellan's head coach. David Gunn, had a great reputation in the city. He was coaching up there at Arkansas State. So it was always that. I remember my senior year, I used to reach out to Coach Gunn all the time just to see what that would look like. And Coach Gunn was like, you get up here, you make sure all your stuff in order, and we'll have a conversation. And what I mean by stuff in order, make sure your NCAA clearinghouse is good. Make sure your FAFSA paperwork is filled out. And make sure you got your ACT score, things like that. So I graduated high school with a 3.5. I scored a 23 on my ACT. After that, I stopped. And then I made sure I got my NCAA clearinghouse done and things like that. I'll never forget where he told me to come. But when I got there, they was like, hey, we're going to do a tryout. Like, people college don't really do a tryout, right? So they did a tryout, right? And I'm like, man.
You didn't tell me this.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So they did a tryout, man. And man, it was about 40 guys there. 40 guys. And I think out of that tryout, they took 2. They took me as a receiver, and they took another guy as a linebacker, which was my partner, man. And I think part of the reason they took me, one, I had a hell of a tryout, but also that I had all my paperwork in order. If I hadn't came correct, because there was some dudes with some talent, but their paperwork went in order. And if you wasn't in order, that's the first test, right? Your paperwork in order, You don't want this bad enough. So
in other words, kids, he's telling you,
yeah,
make sure you got your business taken
Yep.
care of.
Yep.
You are a student athlete.
Right. Right.
Not an athlete student. So make sure you got your business taken care of, whether you got a scholarship or walking on or whatever. Make sure your business is handled.
Right.
Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah. And so at that point, that was my in the door, right? You know, and all you can pray for is an opportunity,
Yep.
right?
That's it.
And so, you know, that red shirt year, like, you know, and I go back into it, but that red shirt year, man, I just grinded. Matter of fact, I had an anatomy and physiology class that interrupted practice. Man, I started skipping that class because I enrolled in 15 hours. And so I knew that I could drop that and still have 12 hours and be a full-time student. So I was like, man, this is interrupting. So I got to get to practice. So I ended up just going to practice and eventually dropping that class. But man, I noticed each week, like we might play FIU. FIU had T.Y. Hilton at the time, right?
Ooh,
So when I'm on scout team,
they got you playing.
they got me being T.Y. Hilton.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that was a deal, like me really still being green to the game because I'm not knowing, right? But even in the weight room during that time, I went from 155 to 175 in a semester.
Wait, so hold on. So you didn't understand how much weight that carried
No.
with them asking you to give them the decoy to T.Y. Hilton?
Nah,
Oh,
listen,
okay.
let me tell you how I figured that out. Listen, so we play on Saturday, right? On Sunday, they would have like a light practice. You lift, and then you have a light practice, which, you know, is just, you know, 7 on, you know, just walking through some stuff, some special team stuff. Man, I had a bad habit of wanting to shoot back to the rock. You know, when you get up there your freshman year, you know, we still kind of be attached to the city.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I had a girl here at the time, so I used to want to shoot home. I was one of those dudes like, hey, I'm a red, but, you know, they go on the road. At the end of the day, yeah, I'm going to the crib, right? But didn't have a car at the time, so I'm at, you know, the mercy of whoever's deciding that they're going to go back to Jonesboro, right? And I never forget, man, I missed a Sunday practice, and I'm thinking, like, they won't miss me. You know, they won't miss me. Ain't nobody paying attention. I'm just a walk-on. I'm a red shirt. You know, no biggie because it's light practice. I've been to these practices. We don't do much. They ain't looking for me. The wide receiver coach told me, he said, man, you miss another Sunday practice, I'm personally going to pack your shit up and send you home. Listen, that man had never talked to me prior to that. I didn't even know he knew who I was because I'm mostly with the defense on scout team, right? So I go through that, and that's when I realized, okay, I need to be here. But he's like, man, you one of those guys that's going to have an opportunity in the spring, and you're about to jack it up. So didn't understand what that was. Spring came. They didn't care if he was walk-on. They didn't care if he was on scholarship. Everybody got a fair shake. Everybody got reps. And me, it was just dog-eat-dog mentality, right? So I just bust my ass like that whole deal. So do that. Man, I'm telling you, I did that. Went through spring. They was carrying 8. I'll never forget. They called me in the summer and said, we going to invite you to fall camp. So you need to get up here and work out during the summer. I had no money to pay for summer school. Thankfully, you know, I had some buddies that was up there. They was on scholarship.
There was no NIL at that
Yeah,
point.
none of that. But man, I slept on couches, man. You know, I ate off of my partner's meal card. You know, I used to referee basketball games just to make a little bit of money. You know what I'm saying? Just so I could be up there in the summer and work out. And once they seen how dedicated I was, man, and I went through fall camp, I'll never forget, right before we was about to play our first game of the season, it was like, you made the top 8, you know, and I was going to travel. And then that week of, Coach Roberts was like, I got good news for you. Andy Robinson, we going to put you on scholarship. You know what I'm saying? So after that, it was uphill, but like I went through that first year, just grinding, no excuses, you know, not letting it take me. Like I said, I remember a pivotal moment was, you know, we talking about spring ball, right? We had 6 a.m.s, this thing called 6 a.m.s. We got to be there at 6 a.m.s. And man,
You got to be there at 5.
yeah, right. And so our dorm room, Arkansas Hall up there, was probably like a mile away from where we practice at. And I ain't have a car. We ain't have scooters. We ain't have little bikes. We ain't have none of that. And everybody already there. I'm late. I'm late because I got to walk, right? Jogging the whole thing. Boom, boom, boom. I go in running. I'm thinking, coach got to kick me out the team, this, that, and another. And coach stopped and say, everybody see Anthony Robinson? I'm thinking, you know, I'm holding my head down, right?
Brother, call me in front of everybody.
He said, if you're going to be late, that's how you come running. One of our coaches, you know, passed him on the way because he had to go get another kid, didn't realize who he was, and told me about it. He said, that's the type of effort we need. Some of y'all got different circumstances and won't get half that effort. And I think that stuck with Coach Roberts, man. And after that, man, he put me on scholarship. My first game was against the University of Texas, man. And, you know, sky's the limit. And then some of my partners, when I talk to them now, they say, man, I never knew you was a walk-on. They never knew. Yeah, they said they said, I thought you was just a red shirt like us because you was here with us the whole time.
So who was you at A-State with?
Oh, man.
At that time?
So, man, the dudes from Little Rock, man, we had Kevin Perry was up there.
Okay.
Yeah, Reggie Arnold, Monster was up there. Yeah. And then, my boy, man, Bud Tillman. Bud T was another McClellan cat. He was up there, man. So that was kind of like the Little Rock cats. But, man, we had some dudes as far as, you know, you got Coach out there. You got my boy, Tyrell Johnson.
Oh, that's my brother.
Yeah.
So you were there with T-Rail?
Yeah, I was there with T-Rail, man.
Okay.
Yeah, T-Rail, Cayenne Burns, man, Marcus Brown. It was a lot of cats, man. J.T. Jordan. Yeah, and then a couple of my LBs, they ended up being my LBs. Alex Carrington played for the Buffalo Bills. Brian Hall played for the Super Bowl team. Them my LBs as well.
What'd you play?
I'm on Omega, man.
Okay.
Yeah, Q-Dog was on there.
Okay, so that's why you and J-Mo.
Yeah. Well, you know, we got the Little Rock connection too, though. But the funny story about him, though, J-Bo was always like years behind me.
Yep.
But he was just like he played for the Westside Steelers and everything. So when he came behind me, everybody used to tell him, you remind us of when my nickname was Bullet Man. They was like, you remind us of that. So they used to always tell him that, but they used to always tell me, hey, it's this little dude that look just like you. Hey, he moved like you, he cold like you, you know what I'm saying? His name, you know, Jeremy Baldwin. I was like, for sure. So when he ended up coming up to the A-State, familiar with the name, Coach Gunn put me with him, you know what I'm saying? And the year he came up there, I was going into my GA year. So, you know, I actually coached him.
So what I like to do, I like to reach out to either coaches or players of yours, and I reached out to both. Well, Bo, like he said everything about, I reached out to both. Now I was like, hey, you know, there's something about bro that I need to know. And so he tell me a lot of generic stuff. I'm like, bruh, I know he coached the Con.
Yeah.
I know. I'm like, hey, like, yo, you telling me everything that I found on Google.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I want to ask you this. What kind of coach is he?
Yeah.
And how has he helped you? He was thinking, I was like, well, you know what? Easier question. How does he compare to Big Bro Moody?
Yeah.
And he was like, man, I ain't gonna lie. I really started to learn the game from Coach Rob.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so he's a great teacher. How was you able to get those fundamentals in teaching the game and not only helping your coaches learn, but helping your players learn as well?
Man, I'm an educator first, right? You know, and that's the thing. Like, obviously, you know, kind of came into the high school realm because I wanted to coach. But, man, the first thing, you know, I got a bachelor's in secondary education.
Okay.
Know? So I'm an educator first. But, man, I think that's just kind of always been me. Even when I played, I think, you know, even at A-State, I went from walk-on to, you know, they'll tell you that I was a 2-year captain. You know, I was a captain my junior year. I was a captain my senior year. You know, so I was always paying attention to detail. Even in my receiver room, what allowed me to get on the field was knowing everybody's role, knowing everybody's what they're supposed to do, everybody's position, right? So I always mastered, if I know everything, it's going to be very hard for them to take me out the field, right? Because if you need a guy, he can go because he know what to do, and everything going to flow. He may not be
X, Y, Z.
Yeah, he might not be the greatest, but at the end of the day, he understands the system. So I always had an A.
He gonna be
Exactly. So I think that just went from player and attention to detail as a player to attention to detail as a coach.
Okay. And so what's some of the difficulties of coaching nowadays versus some of the difficulties of when we were young?
Right. I think same thing, new day. But the one thing I think back in the day, parents would give more autonomy to the coaches. You know, here go my baby, you got him.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Here go my baby, you got him, trust you. You know, now with the internet, not saying that it's not good because it's good for people to be educated and have knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Because
everything is soft.
right, yeah. But
Coach, don't you talk to my son like that, Coach?
yeah, and you get, and I say that, and it's still only a few of those. You get a lot of good parents. You know, we've been fortunate enough to have a lot of good parents here that believe in what I'm selling, and you know, if they believe in what you're selling, you know, and they buy in, then it's a lot easier for the kids to buy in. But I just, you know, and we talked about it at the clinic earlier today in Arkadelphia, man. Kids just don't go outside and play no more. So stuff that we naturally had, right? You know, the reason I can juke somebody is because we used to play it. You know, so yeah, play tag. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna shake you and go touch the tree so I can be safe, right? Just games like that, man. You know, if it's snowing outside like it is, we'll put on big starter jackets and go play tackle football in the middle of the street.
Kids, y'all know about starter jackets.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I think the difference is their baseline is just different because the way that they come up playing, they don't really come up playing as rough as we did or just doing stuff. You know, me and all my cousins used to just hit backflips off of houses and stuff like that.
Boy.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you got some that still do that, but you don't got a lot of kids just doing that stuff no more.
And I remember when I was at Forest Heights before I transferred to PH, because one of the roofs at Forest Heights is like real low.
Yeah.
Like, man, we would jump up on the roof
Right.
and do front flips and back
flips.
flips.
Yeah.
Like, people would be like, yo, man,
what you doing?
What y'all doing?
Perfect height.
Exactly.
Perfect height.
I just flipping it in thing.
Perfect height.
So,
Yeah.
Going from a walk-on in 1 year
right
to a scholarship player.
Yeah.
A lot of times that's unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
And the times that you do hear about it, that walk-on got on the field a lot, even though they were the walk-on, whether it be because injury, they was just killing it and whatnot. With you not being able to get on the field and then earn a scholarship, when did that finally set in that, hey, I belong here and I'm putting in not only just as much work as everybody around me, but even more work than everybody around me? And when was you able to start holding people accountable to the standard of work that you was putting in?
Well, man, if I look back on it, man, and I tell people this all the time, I had delusional faith. Like, if you understand what I'm...
What's delusional faith?
Like for me, like I knew I went to Hall. I knew we weren't that good, but it was oftentimes I didn't think a lot of people were better than me. Like me and my LB talk, he was like, man, you know how special that is? You walked on and you got on scholarship
in a year.
Yeah. And I was just like, I just always felt like it was gonna happen that way. Like, so I never thought that it wasn't gonna happen any other way. From the time I decided that I was gonna go to Arkansas State to the time that I was able to practice, my mindset was always, all right, they probably got 3 dudes. They got a starter, they got the backup, and they got a third team. So my first mission is to beat the third guy out. Let me get them third guy reps. It may be only 2 reps, but let me beat that guy out and get those 2 reps.
Something.
Yeah, let me get those 2 reps. If I can beat that third guy out and actually get some reps, like I'm gonna maximize those reps where they gonna have to pay attention, right? You need me to do the dirty work. You need me to reach block somebody. You need me to, you need me to crack back on somebody. Like I'm gonna put my, whatever. Like, as a receiver, I played running back first. So I didn't really come into the receiver role with the prima donna. You got to throw me the ball, this, that, and that. Right. Like if you wanted me to run 100 miles on a go route just to knock the top off and keep the safeties deep, I'm willing to do that. I don't have to get the ball. I'm just going to do all the dirty works with no complaints, right? So it started with just that, just effort, man. You can't teach, effort and want to, right? So that was me. Yeah. Like I said, you can't teach effort and just want to. Like effort, man, effort to get you there.
You want to do it or you don't.
Right. And so that was me. Like, I'll do this. And if they happen to go on and throw it to me, I'm going to make sure I'll catch the ball. And that was the thing. I was fortunate enough to be able to have solid hands. And I think that's, I ended up becoming like a third down receiver. Like they would put me on a 5-yard out, a 10-yard out. They would put me on a bubble route. Like, we going to get this dude the ball. We know he going to catch it type of deal. So that's really what that was. And just to go back to what you were saying, like I was a try hard. I know that ain't cool. I was always a try hard because when you short in stature like I am, right? If you don't try hard, you probably gonna get your dick knocked in the dirt. Excuse my French, right? So I was always a try hard because I had to be able to compete, right? So that was just me. And I think a lot of that, when I do that day to day, like even when I was on scout team, them defensive guys like, bro, you doing too much. My job is to try to dog you every day because now when you go play in that game, you're gonna be better because I put that work in all week and I ain't slack up, right? So that was just always my mentality. And I was in my own world and I ain't allow a lot of people to influence me because my path and my purpose was my own and I ain't really looked to nobody else to try to tell me how and why I needed to do it.
And plus, you already on scholarship.
Yeah, right, right.
And
Yeah.
so I'm trying to get to where you at.
Yeah.
So what coach came to you your third year and said, "Hey, we want you to be the captain"?
Yeah.
And what was that like when you heard that?
Man, I was fortunate enough, man. I had two receivers coaches. One was a technician, and he was the head coach at SAU a few years back, Coach McCarty.
Oh.
But man, we ended up getting a young guy named Tyler Siskey. If you research Tyler Siskey, yeah, and Tyler Siskey, man, if you look him up, he went on to do some player development stuff at Ole Miss. Then after that, he went on to work at Alabama for Nick Saban. And then after that, he ended up going to South Alabama. Siskey, one of those guys, he a dude in Alabama. Matter of fact, he coached A.J. McCarron in high school, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so Tyler Siskey, man, he was my position coach. And he always kind of said, he was like, man, he told me early, like, you might need to think of getting in coaching when you get done with this, right? And so he kind of was one of them ones who was like, nominated me for being a captain. But then I had Coach Gunn was still on staff.
Okay.
Then I had Maurice Harris was on staff. Maurice Harris he's a college coach now, but he came from being a head high school coach at Whitehaven in Memphis.
Memphis.
Yeah, and then
additional powerhouse in Memphis.
Yeah, right. And then
everybody know about Whitehaven.
And then there was another brother on staff, man, Coach Tony Gilbert, man. And I think all those guys kind of understood my path. They was my mentors. And they kind of just, when it came for nominations, it was like, they took captains from each position group, and I was that guy. Like, I think I was consistent.
Okay. So, did you ever have aspirations of going to the league, or was you just like, man, because of my size and height, it's not going to work out, so let me look a little bit more into this coaching aspect that Coach Siskey was talking to me about?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I've always been self-aware, right? Wanted to go to the league just like everybody else. I never forget when we went to do our pro day, just honest truths, but I knew it to be true anyways. Man, talking to one of those, the NFL scouts, and, had a good showing as far as my route run and stuff like that. Man, he just had an honest conversation. Like, he said, man, listen, you 5'5", He said, you 175, 177, soaking wet. You run a legit 4.5. He said, and you played in the Sun Belt. And he said, you weren't the best player in the Sun Belt, and let alone you weren't the best player on your team, not being harsh. He was like, at the time.
He was giving you
face. He was giving me face. He said, and the reason I say that, he say, I know a guy your same height. He runs 4.2, 4.3, 40. He's probably one of the best guys in the SEC. He was one of the best guys on his team at LSU. The guy I'm talking about is Trendon Holiday. He say, and even with all that, he say Trendon Holiday is nothing more than a specialist in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's real facts. I'm a self-aware guy. At the end of the day, am I still gonna try? I ain't gonna let him kill my dream. I'm gonna do what I need to do. But the whole time, by this time, I had been building the game plan to life after football. Making connections through when I was playing ball, the people I'm meeting, make sure that they understand that I'm a man of good character. I never really did anything to the detriment of who I was to make people feel like they couldn't trust me or believe in me. And so those relationships that I built with not only coaches, but with staff around the school, other players on the team, I think it propelled and allowed me to go into my next venture.
Okay. Now, kids, if you think he's joking, go look up Trendon Holiday highlights.
Right.
And, oh, my God.
A beast.
Man, when he talk about fast, quick in and out his routes, he was literally a dog.
Yeah.
For real. And so, what was the journey and what led you to Lancaster, Texas?
Oh, man. So my coaching journey. So as soon as I finished playing ball at A-State, I became a student intern. So I was doing my...
That's what I forgot to ask you.
No, let's go. I'll run it down for you. So I became a student. Yeah, but I was a student intern first. Oh. Right? So I was a student intern. So I was doing my student teaching because I had my education deal. In your last semester, you got to do your student teaching. Like it's basically like you go work as a teacher, but you don't get paid nothing. You get a grade. Like so I did my student internship.
Doing it now.
Yeah, and normally if you want to coach, you would do like a coaching gig too with your student intern at whatever high school you at. Fortunately, I was able to do mine with A-State football in the spring. So during this time, A-State was going through a coaching change, right? My offensive coordinator was Hugh Freeze. So I played for Hugh Freeze as he was my offensive coordinator.
With the Auburn.
Yep. Auburn with the Ole Miss.
Ole Miss as well.
Yep. So Hugh Freeze was my offensive coordinator, and he ended up becoming the head coach. Me and Freeze was tight, you know what I'm saying? But he had only done 1 year with me, and Freeze had a ton of connections.
That's the Malzone or was it?
No, that was before. It was before Malzone. So Freeze had he was the coach, Blindside,
Yep.
Michael Ward.
Yep.
Freeze was the head coach at that high school.
Yep.
Yeah, man. And Freeze ended up coming. He ended up.
He got on at Ole Miss.
Yeah, he got on at Ole Miss with Orchard Run.
Yep.
And then he went to Lambeth.
Yeah,
and then he went to Lambeth and got his first head coaching gig. And then he came to A-State as offensive coordinator. Right?
Okay.
And so he was my offensive coordinator. We broke records that year. Like, I mean, I went off my senior year because he didn't have me blocking big ass outside linebackers no more. He say, hey, just run this bubble. You know what I'm saying?
It's an open
field. Yeah, we got this thing called the RPO, run pass option. It was new to me, so but he changed the game with that. And some connections with that too. We gonna talk about it too.
Okay.
Yeah, man, because matter of fact, Hakeem Frampton, right?
I was gonna ask
Yeah, so
you play with Framp.
Yeah, so Framp transferred.
Brother,
Framp was a JUCO transfer.
Yep.
Framp was a dog. Like Framp was an absolute monster in college, right? And man, I mean, just work ethic.
Josh's favorite coach.
Yeah. Just work ethic like crazy, man. That dude came in there. He had so much on his back, man.
He got a real story.
Yeah, got a real story. But Hakeem, he used to be around campus. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember that when he came there, and then so I played with Framp for 1 year, and Framp probably would have had 100 catches his junior year and his senior year. But me and Framp kind of split time. He had 70-some catches. I had 40-some catches, right? Because we split time. He was an absolute monster, though. And then that next year, I was a GA, and he ended up breaking like school records and had over 100 receptions in a single season type deal. But he deserved it because he worked his butt off for it. Framp was an absolute dog. But I went off on a tangent.
Love it, bro.
Yeah. Good people, man. Good people. So when I was a GA, I went from student intern, right? And so I went through spring ball with them. I ain't really got a good relationship with Freeze, other than he respected me, this, that, and other. I was like, hey, man, they're looking, I for some reason, God just told me I was going to be a graduate assistant. So I was like, people like, what you going to do? I'm going to be a graduate assistant somewhere that's possibly here. So I'm asking Freeze, like, you think you're going to have a graduate assistant job? I would really love it. I'm giving him my pitch the whole time I'm doing this student intern coach deal. And Freeze like, I got a couple of guys with, this, that, and the other. You're going to be around though, right? And I'm thinking like, hey man, when I graduate, I got this room. I'm going to have to pack this thing up. And I don't have nowhere to go.
Somebody got to pay this rent.
Right. So Freeze, man, I'm just be honest. Like Freeze slow played me, man. He slow played me. No, for real. He didn't just give it to me. So he didn't give it to me, but like, here's me though. So I started calling people, and like I had some coaching connections and people was looking for GAs. Man, people don't know this. I was at OBU for like a month and a half in the summertime.
Doing GA?
Yeah, I was about to be a GA. I was gonna coach the receivers because when you're at that level and you're a GA, you get your own position group. So I was gonna coach the receivers, this, that, and other. And so I had moved my bed and stuff down there in the GA housing and everything, worked some camps and stuff like that. So I was getting ready for that. A-State had a camp. I go down to A-State, when you GA or you coaching at a lower level, you can come work their camps. So I went back to A-State to work in camp. They had a camp every summer, 707.
Yep.
They do some skills and drills and stuff like that. So I went back up there.
Okay, you went to the high school camp. Okay.
Yeah. So I went back up there to work the camp, and normally it's like they see if they like a guy, if they don't like him, they kind of tell you, hey, I think he'll be good at y'all level, this, that, and other. I never forget getting there, and I got my OBU stuff on because I just left being a student intern. And Dave Woback, who's the defensive coordinator at the time.
Coach Womack.
Yeah, Coach Woback, he say, damn, man, you move fast. Right? So I'm just like,
What you want me to do?
yeah, I was like, man, I had to do something. But man, like, I mean, like I say, thankfully, man, I remember I got back down there, probably did like another weekend, man. Freeze came calling, hey, what you doing, man? You know, it's you.
Work it.
Yeah, right. It's you. He was like, was trying to figure out if you wanted to come back home. I was like, well, coach, they're gonna have me, you know, me. Just I'm a loyal guy, right? Coach, they're gonna have me coaching the position group, you know, really want that experience. You know, they gave me opportunity. You know, I don't really want to, you know, just pull out on them because they took the chance on me. Here go Freeze. I'm sure we can pay you more than they can. He was right. He was right. I was gonna be working down there for meal plan money. You know what I'm saying? Meal plan money and maybe some money when I work in camp or two. But I was gonna be working for room and board and meal plan money. And Freeze was like, man, I'm sure we can pay you. And which it was.
The position group.
Yeah, that real world experience, right? Because when you're at that level, yeah. But you know, I remember, man, my boy JJ, man. JJ was down at Johnny Johnson, man, which I think he had New Mexico State right now, man. He was working at OBU at the time. And I kind of told him what was on the table. He's like, man, you got to go. I was like, why you say that? He said, his dudes like me have been waiting on opportunities like that since I got here. He said there's a way, man, that if you stay at this level, you get stuck at this level, right? He said, and though you'll get a better experience here, because by coaching a position group, he said it'll be a great experience. He said by going up there and getting that on your resume, he said that'll be the best for you,
long term,
right? You know what I'm saying? And so I did that GA year, man. Watched Freeze completely, man, flip. Like we had a decent year, but I remember we lost some crucial games in like the last 2 minutes. Offense, we was tearing it up. Defense was letting us down. But Freeze came. He brought in Dave Womack, man, and we went from like a 6-6 season and didn't make a bowl game to, man, as a GA, them jokers went 10-2, won the Sun Belt Conference, and then we went to the New Orleans Bowl. You know, so I got my first ring as a coach. You know, that GA year, yeah, and that was Prep them senior year. Yeah, man. So after that, Freeze, man, it was so season over and
you don't want 10 wins at Auburn.
Well, season over, and I never forget, we getting prepared for the bowl game, and the news dropped. Hugh Freeze going to Ole Miss, and I'm thinking, where do I fit? You know what I'm saying? Is he gonna take me with him? You know, it's a whole different deal down there.
It's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, man, and like I said, you know, I barely got this gig, this, that, another. So he ended up going to Ole Miss. I remember that's when Malza was coming in. He had his own GAs coming in. Cody Burns, good dude too. He was coming in, man. Yeah, and it was a couple other guys that he was bringing in because I was like, oh, I'm out. So I got to see if I can get on with. And he told me like I could come, but it was gonna be more so like in a volunteer, a student intern type deal. And unfortunately, at the time, man, I just financially I couldn't survive it, man. And I wish I could have, but I really just couldn't survive it. And then I didn't want to take out any loans. You know, I didn't really, you know, want to take out any loans because I had, you know, a few loans from my first year, and I was kind of like, I'm good on that. You know, I don't want to do that. And so they ended up going to Ole Miss. But man, and another reason I didn't do it, man, even when I was up there, something was just telling me like, you got to go get this game to some high schoolers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you gotta, like, you didn't kind of figured it out. You know what I'm saying? Even without the fanfare, the signing day, and people recruiting you, you figured out a way to find your way, right? There's a lot of me's out there. You know what I'm saying? And then the dudes that sign, man, they're in the top 5 to top 1 percentile, right?
Yes.
So, you know, I was like, man, cool. I'll never forget my first gig was in Magnolia, Arkansas. I went all the way down to Magnolia, Arkansas.
Okay.
Yeah, Coach Robert Day took a chance on me, man. I went to Magnolia, Arkansas, had little to no money. He let me stay above his garage. He had like a little apartment there. I did about 2 months staying above his garage, worked for Coach Day, ended up becoming an offensive coordinator my first year.
Okay.
Yeah, man. And then, like I said, I've always went through coaching changes. After that first year, Coach Day left, you know, and he ended up going to Northwest Arkansas. And then Coach Painter came in from El Dorado. He was with Coach Reed, and Coach Painter came in. And when Coach Painter came in, he decided that he didn't want to be a defensive coordinator no more. He wanted to be an offensive coordinator.
So now you out.
Yeah, and so then he brought his boy to be a defensive coordinator, which it was cool, you know. But at that point, I kind of made my mind up like, I'll do this year with him, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm a grind. I got a relationship with the kids, so I did the year with the receivers, man. It was okay, and then so at the end of the year, I left. I went with my boy Mark Kelly, head coach at Seven Hills.
Yep.
Mark Kelly was
amazing offensive mind.
Right. So Mark Kelly was at Searcy.
Searcy.
Right.
Well, they want to say championship.
Yeah. So I was gone by then, but Mark was there, and I can keep it funky. I'm gonna keep it all the way funky. So I went to Searcy after Magnolia, which, man, I love the good people of Magnolia, but man, if you a Little Rock cat, man, it's a little different for us. But
it's me.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But
it's like going to Arkadelphia before they got the liquor store.
Right. You know, but good people down. Yeah, good people down there. They took care of me, man. I appreciate them people because, man, I got humble beginnings. Like, that's why I tell my coaches, like, you know, Bo and these guys, I was like, man, when I was down there in Magnolia, they literally gave me a prep period to go mow the practice field lawn, right? You know what I'm saying? Also, when we had to wash clothes, we had this old, like, towel washer where you had two, like, you know, things that shut the clothes on one side, and then you open the lid in the middle, and you got to put it in the middle and close the lid for it to spin before you can dry it. So that was, and then on Wednesday nights,
you was really getting out.
Right. So then on Wednesday nights, you know, we would have to paint the field. You know, my first assignment when I first got that gig, it was like the day after, you know, the week after 4th of July, was to paint the stadium. So, you know, it was like real deal, just super labor, man, and just that old school, you know, upbringing and coaching, which humble beginnings, because that set me up for everything that came after, right? So I left, went to Searcy. Searcy got a beautiful indoor facility, stadium seating. My boy Mark there, cool. It was a good thing, man. I'm gonna tell you this, man. I love being in there. It was great to be a black presence in that city because they had some black kids, man. But I was one of 3 African Americans in the whole school district.
I was gonna say it's not a lot.
No.
Because we went down there and played this year, and it was like
I was one of but you know they had a patch up, but I was one of 3 in the whole school district. So I was like the only black dude on the staff, man. The apartment complex I lived in down there, man, I was like the only black dude in the whole apartment complex. So, man, at this point, I was just like, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, yeah, man. Well, you know, it's just, I mean, I did good work, man. I can coach anybody, no matter what creed, no color, man. Kids are kids, right? You know, and if you give them real, they gonna respect real.
Exactly.
You know,
regardless
of where it's coming from, right? So those kids respected me, man. Had a great relationship with them. Just my personal life and just the personal living was like a bit much, right? And at that time, man, I had put on my vision board, man, get to Texas, because and I'm gonna tell you why. And I'm a big advocate about this. Yeah, I'm a big advocate, man. So at the time, you know, you had very few African American head coaches back then. This is like 2013, 2014, I guess, all the way up to 2015. I think maybe Cortez Lee. You might have had Moody. You might have had Coach Shelton. You might have had was Coach Chambers out there in McClellan at the time. I don't know, because Moody wasn't there in McClellan. Yeah, he eventually got to McClellan. Yeah, but it was very few. But when we used to go to the coaches' clinic out there,
14, I think Moody was in McClellan.
Yeah, I think he had. Yeah, matter of fact, he had just got there, but it was very, very little to no representation, right? And so you start to think, what's your upside? And so the dudes that I rolled with was Coach DB, you know what I'm saying, Durham Burnett, that's out there in High Springs. Okay. Coach Hood, who's the head coach now at Texarkana. Coach
left though.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Coach Hooks, who's at Osceola. You know, that was you know, those was like my dudes. And like I said, you had like a few others, like 3 other guys, young coaches, right?
Yeah.
But all of us was just kind of feeling like, man, them dudes was dudes. They was further along than me, but we was watching cats get jobs, right? And it's just kind of like, you know, how these dudes getting jobs, they resume don't compare, right? You know, but at the same time, we're going to keep working, right? But I remember Coach Hood, he ended up leaving.
He was a dog.
Yeah, exactly. But he had to leave, go to Georgia to get his first opportunity. And so for me, man, I just kind of knew in like, you know, the Houston area and the DFW area, I had started hearing and seeing a lot of motion about, black coaches getting some opportunities. Now, if you say per capita, it's probably the same in Texas and Arkansas, but they got a larger landscape, so therefore there's a little bit more opportunity, right? Yeah. So, man, I'm gonna tell you, man, like, and a lot of people just like, how you make that happen? Like, when you coach and you do good deals, people will introduce you to good people. But I never forget, this vision board said I need to get to Dallas, get to the Dallas area. I got to get up out of here, right? Someone just called me because I was like, if I stay here, I just didn't feel like they would see me, or the path would just be really, really long, right? I was very ambitious to a fault at times. But, and I never forget, I applied to school, every school in the DFW Metroplex area, just randomly one day on my computer, just like, oh, okay, I can submit this here, I can submit this here, just in case, right? Was thinking about it, really didn't have a lot of motion. I had been talking to a couple coaches, a couple deals, this, that, and other. Believe it or not, man, my high school, and this is how educators are impactful, right? My high school drama teacher, she knew what I had going on. She always kept up with me. She's a member of Delta Sigma Theta.
Okay.
I'm a member of
sister organization.
Yeah, I'm a member of Omega Psi. I call her one day, she say, "What's wrong with your son?" I say, I gotta get up out of here. I like it here. I love the kids. This thing is awesome. The job was great. I say, I just feel out of my element a little bit here. Kind of tired of being the token. Got tired of being the token. And she said, "Where you trying to go?" I said, "DFW area." She said, "All right, give me 1 second." Hung up. She called me back an hour later. She said, my chapter sister, Don Rice, she had called me. Don Rice called me. She talked to me. She's like, "I can get you in the door, but it's going to be up to you to close." She said, our athletic director happens to be a Delta as well, lady up by the name of Beverly D. Humphrey. Now, the legend of Beverly D. Humphrey, she is Hall of Fame at Prairie View for track and field. She's a Texas high school Hall of Fame track and field coach. Her name was on the stadium before she even retired. So it's called Beverly D. Humphrey Tiger Stadium. But, Miss Beverly gave me an opportunity. I came in and we chopped it up, and I just told her everything I had done. She said, "You impressive. Let me introduce you to my head coach. This is all God." And there's a reason I'm talking about it, because it's just being willing to move when God say move and proper timing. I meet this dude, man, who is he's already legendary, but he's really becoming legendary. The dude I meet is a coach by the name of Christopher Gilbert. Coach Gilbert is the personal assistant to Coach Steve Sarkisian at the University of Texas right now. Coach Gilbert had 2 years prior had just taken Lancaster to the state championship for the first time in school history.
Okay.
And so we get to rap. He say, "Everything you talking about is what we trying to implement here." He say, "But I ain't really got no varsity spots." He was like, "But I can get you over there at the middle school if you willing to take that just to get in the door." He said, "But with your resume, I know you probably don't want that, but I think if you're just trying to move, I think it'll be a good deal." And I didn't want to take that. I felt like that was a slap in the face. Like I said, very ambitious. So Coach Gilbert, he get me, man, I prayed on it. And I know my mom said, if God opened a door for you,
you gotta walk
and you don't walk because you scared of what's on the other side, then I don't want to hear no complaining when the situation that you in
don't work out
or ain't for you. So I just took a chance, man. And when I took this chance, because all this happened in like May, if I didn't get this deal happening before like June 12th, I was gonna be locked into my contract.
Searcy.
Yeah, Searcy.
Okay.
Right? So that happened. And so I had to make a decision. I hadn't saved for a big move like that. I knew I wanted to go, but I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared. I was still young. I mean, I wasn't prepared to make this move. I'll never forget, man. I moved to Dallas, Texas with $2,600. And my last paycheck came in June, and I wasn't going to get paid again till September. I'm telling you, right? I had an uncle out there. He said, "Man, come on." You know what I'm saying? Now, my uncle lived in Carrollton.
Oh.
Lancaster is about an hour south. Hour to hour and a half south.
And that's not including the traffic.
Right. I'm talking about taking an hour you know what I'm saying, on the tollway, right? But this is I'm talking about like for probably about 4 months, man. I'm hitting it like I'm working all day, you know, that first year, like, but that's too much. When I got there in the summertime, we had like a coaches clinic, self coaches clinic, where they make you do board work, this, that, and other. And so, you know, everybody go around, they ask you questions, or they allow you to ask questions, or they allow you to present. And he said, Coach Rob, you going to present tomorrow. You know, Arkansas dude. You going to present tomorrow, Arkansas dude. I was like, all right. Man, I killed it. Like, I could see everybody in the room kind of be like, who is this young cat? You know, right? You know what I'm saying? And he came to me after the meeting. He said, I'm going to still need you to be down at the middle school working with them guys in the morning. But you're going to be a varsity coach. You to come over here every afternoon. And he made me
Big bless.
Yeah, he made me the inside receivers coach. Right.
So do you think he was kind of testing you to see?
I think it was a bit of that, but I also think it was a level of, you know what I'm saying? He seen my passion and what I wanted to do. Because like all this come all the way around to when I got this head job and what he told me. But so that's how I got to Lancaster. And those 5 years was like the most beautiful years I've ever seen. It was like the Black Mecca, man. I had never seen nothing like it. That was the first time I ever had worked for a black head coach. And he actually was the guy, you know, other coaches too by watching them, but he was the guy that showed me how to be me and do this job. Because, you know, when you coming up, when I was younger, you know, you kind of have an identity crisis on how you supposed to carry yourself, what it's supposed to look like, you know. Yeah, man. You around there wearing Sperry's and some Dockers and some polos, you know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest, right? You know, you around there doing that, trying to, you know, because you don't know. So that's what it was. And then I get to him, and you know, ain't nothing wrong with wearing some J's. You know, ain't nothing wrong with, you know.
Wear your forces.
Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with having a little style because that's just what we do, man. And
you got a polo set.
Yeah.
Man, put that hoodie
and like I say, ain't nothing wrong with it, but you know how sometimes stuff.
Gotta be able to
it just ain't always. I ain't saying that there ain't a good look, but that just ain't always me. And he showed me a different type of way. Not saying he was flashy or anything like that. He just handled that job with such style and grace, man. It was a thing to be admired, man. So he showed all of us that was on that staff, because I think he put out like 7, 8 head coaches from that staff. Okay. He showed all of us how to do it and do it the right way.
So with you being there for 5 years and now you being in Central,
yep.
What's similarities, but what's also the gap that you see between Texas football and Arkansas football? Because everybody would normally tell you Texas football, best football in the nation. You got Texas, Florida, Georgia, California, but everybody talks about Texas.
Right.
And so with you being able to witness both of them, what's the similarities? What's the gap? And what are you doing here to bring some of what you learned there to Central?
The similarities, man, is the dynamic and the makeup. You know, the dynamic and the makeup is there. And what Central used to be is kind of what Lancaster was, man. But you know, it was in extreme HBCU fashion. You know, I'm a dude that's all about the arts and things like that. But on a game night, it was a production, right? Okay. You know, so not only are we gonna have 100+ kids out there on football team, you look at the band. The band got 100+ kids, right? You know, you see all the people in that town, you know, with such pride, man, about it. But I'm gonna tell you this: here's the biggest difference in Texas and in Arkansas, and we all see it whenever you drive down 30, heading to Dallas. You're gonna see one over Roy City to the left, right?
Yep.
And then you keep on going, you're gonna see Rockwall to the right. And the first question you're gonna ask, that's a high school stadium? Right? Now the stadium
facility.
Yeah, so the stadium is the representation, right? But it kind of represents so much more. It represents the mentality and the mindset of the people in Texas, right? They value football. They value really sports because they got some good basketball too, right? And some good baseball. Everybody just talks about the football.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I watched Tyrese Maxey go crazy when I was down there, you know, but that's a different story. But now, man, the resources and the access to things that these kids have, right, is just so much grander, right? Because they got great football stadiums, they got great weight rooms, and that allows their numbers up, their schools are large, so they got a lot of kids competing. And when you compete every day, you're bound to get better, right?
Okay.
And then, like, these towns, they shut down stores to come to their games, right?
That's a fact.
So everybody's pouring into it. And not saying that, I just think that we rival here a lot in the state where we don't want to do too much for athletics because then people gonna get on us for not doing as much academically.
You can equally do
yeah,
both. You
but
can
what,
have both things.
but what I learned out there is that the smartest kids, the most academic students are going to come to those schools who have great resources that creates a culture of winning, because even as a fan, they want to be a part of it. And then most parents, right? Like, if you're really doing your job, no matter where your kid goes, you're going to make sure that the education part is taken care of.
Correct.
You're going to make sure that they're enrolled in the classes that they need to be successful. They're going to offer those classes that they need to be successful. What's going to set that school and those places apart is how do you capture the kid outside of the classroom, whether that be sports, whether that be the arts, whether that be, dance, whether that be, theater. Like, how do you capture these kids with these different programs, right? And so what I noticed is we were getting high academic achieving kids because they wanted to be affiliated with winners, or they were winners athletically and academically. So, I think the biggest difference is that we rival that here, and there they dive head first into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, winning is going to bring people regard, for sure. Whether it's students, whether it's facilities, winning, in other words, what they say, cures all.
I saw it early, man. When I was at A-State, man, when I first got to A-State didn't look like what it is now.
When you win, they going
but from 2000, but from 2010 to 2018, man, them jokers was winning Sun Belt Conference after Sun Belt Conference championship, right?
What the posters want to do?
Yeah, they started pouring in more money. Now we got waterfalls at the stadium. You feel what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So yeah, but also, enrollment goes up because people want to be affiliated with that, man. So, people always, they rival that, and I think they're one and the same.
They were saying that the enrollment in Alabama during the next 7 years went up by 40%.
Yeah, that's a real thing. That's a real thing.
It's like, it tells you, anybody out there, athletic directors, school superintendents, you can have both.
Yep.
You can have amazing athletics and amazing academics as well. You don't have to take away from one to uplift the other. And so just because you a powerhouse in football don't mean that your school got to be an F school.
Right.
And just because your school is an A school doesn't mean that your sports programs got to be ass, for a lack of a better word.
Yeah, man.
So what was it like when you came back here, went to Conway, helped them get the 3 semifinals, and then you put your name in for the running to be the head coach at Central? And what was that phone call like when they told you, Coach Robinson, are you ready?
Man, so interesting story, man. Like I told you, I'm overly ambitious, right? Like, to the point to where I bumped my head so many times, like, because I'm eager. I think I deserve my shot. I'm ready for my shot. Right? But what I wasn't doing is finding being content in the space that I was in. Not complacent, but content, right? So when I came back,
that's the difference.
Yeah, because when I came back from Texas, understand, I didn't want to come back. I did not want to come back. Didn't have to come back. I had a perfectly fine job. Cool. But man, I'm telling you, I woke up in the middle of the night one day and God was like, go home. What? No, I'm being dead. Yeah, this is so this is during COVID, right? 2020. This is during COVID. got a lot of time to sit with yourself, this, that, and other. Like, and I say, I've been grinding, you know, and I ain't gonna lie, you know, Texas is a little bit of a boys club. You know, if you ain't no Texas guy, you know, they don't care who you played for in college. Who was your high school coach? Right? Those the questions you get asked when you trying to be a coordinator. And then, like I say, man, when you look like I do, man, just like back in the day being a black quarterback, you know, being an offensive coordinator, you don't get a lot of opportunity when you look like we look, you know, for whatever reason. You know, I got my thoughts, but I won't dive into that. But
we can talk about that off camera.
yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, you don't really get a lot of opportunities at that. Seem to get a little bit more if you decide to go on the defensive side. But, man, God was just like, move, go back home. I'm like, man, you know, lifestyle, you know, or purpose, right? So lifestyle or purpose. I got a pretty good lifestyle here, you know what I'm saying? Right? You know, and at this time, I'm living downtown Dallas, you know, this, that, and that. I'm living it up. I'm having a good time.
By AAA?
Yeah, man. All my friends that moved out there, you know, we creating a new, you know, just a new home for us out there, you know.
The new dealer route.
Right, you know, that's what people say. But yeah, but you know, we out there, I'm making a name for myself out there, but God was just like, move, you know, and I was just like, what is it? Like, why am I compelled to move? And Mark Kelly, man, I'm gonna tell you, man, that's like one of my really good friends, right? Mark said, hey man, he had called me and was like, if I leave Searcy and decide to go to Conway, would you come with me? I said, why would you leave Searcy? You just won a state championship. But this is right after you won a state championship. Like, I don't know. I'm just thinking about moving around. You know, I could just go be a coordinator and stuff, but I want to know if I do that, would you come? I said, man, if you, I said, it's definitely something I think about. This dude, Mark Kelly, did it, right? So in the same time where I'm thinking like,
story behind it.
Yeah, right. I know what's up, right?
We ain't gonna talk about
Yeah. So
they look dirty.
Yeah. So simultaneously, guy saying move, and Mark hit me up like, hey, I'm about to go make this move to Conway, right? And I told him I would think about it. He was like, if you want to think about it, I'll get you on the phone with Coach Pimple. Coach Pimple, man, he's a dude in his own right, man. I love working for that dude. Coach Pimple called me. You would have thought me and Coach Pimple was dudes for years. What's up, man? How you doing? Coach Pimple say this. How is it that everybody I call and ask about you, they know you and they say all these magnificent things, and we've never met? You're a dude, man. He was like, what we got to do to get you to come home? I said, Coach, I don't think y'all can pay me enough to come home. Right? You know what I'm saying? I said, I just don't think y'all can really. Yeah. I just don't think y'all can pay me enough to come home. Man, he was like, man, we'll figure it out, and you know, you'll be able to make it up because, you know, the cost of living, this, that, and other. So my first response.
What they gonna get you with? Yeah, cost of living is cheap, so they're gonna even.
So real talk, my first response was like, Coach, you know, I told Mark I think about it, but honestly, as I'm sitting in here, I think I'm good on all that. And then he say, all right, man, but I mean, I really would love to have you. I was like, all right. He called me back because it's COVID, right? This early on, he called me back. School still ain't. What Texas gonna do with football? When they gonna start? You know, this, that, and other. I heard they pushing things back at that. You know, he thought more about what we talked about. Say, yeah, I've been sitting in the house and it's actually been weighing on me. He's like, well, let me tell you what. Would you be willing to do like a, you know, just a Zoom interview? You know, just to see if these people, even if I wanted to make this happen, would love to have you. I was like, I'll do a Zoom interview. So I did a Zoom interview. Long story short, they liked me. They ended up getting me down. They got me down here, man. And honestly, like I said, I really didn't want to come because I found out that I was about to be taking a $8,000 pay cut. Yeah. So I took that. I don't know how.
Lifestyle change.
Yeah. Right. But to bring it full circle, man, with that, going back to Conway, backwoods, not being in the city, fast paced, man, I was able to just be content in where I was at the moment.
Now being in Conway, you only a stone's throw from the city.
Yeah, right. And which I can reach out and touch Little Rock, right? But I really, man, just focused on my craft, And instead of being so frustrated about not progressing and not growing and not getting another opportunity to do this, do that, I was like, if I'm gonna be here doing this, I'm just gonna be the best at this. I'm gonna just make sure that I am the best at this. And so I was fortunate to have some dudes like Rome Fields, Manny Smith, Jaden Williams was there.
The running back at Conway?
Yeah, running back receiver, man. Because we made him switch, kind of from running back to slot receiver, man. So I gave him the game on that. Then Chris O'Neal, man, these dudes are absolute dogs, man. And I just seen just them and their love of the game and just pouring into them and all them dudes like Jackson Anderson and all these dudes. Like I say, I tell people I've been putting people in school wherever I go,
Okay.
Like, because even in Lancaster, that's such a long list and names they wouldn't know, but even Jackson Anderson, Manny Smith, Bryce Bohannon, these dudes, man, they always in Conway. Jaden Williams, Bryce Bohannon went to Tulane, Jaden went to Ole Miss, Manny went to UCA, Jackson went to UAPB. So we were putting kids out, right?
Did you have a kid that went to Florida State as well?
Yeah, well, that was before I got here.
Okay.
Yeah, that was before I got there. But so I just became content in my purpose. So to answer what you were saying, man, at the point that all this stuff started shaking up, I had always kept my eye on kind of like what's going on in the city. Disappointingly, man, we would come down here and play Central when I was at Conway, and it would always be during like when the fair was going on.
Yeah, so it wasn't packed.
The attendance was low. It looked like they were missing kids, man. And I would just hear some of the comments from my colleagues about, oh man, excuse my language, but it's a shit show. And the thing is, I kind of took that personally.
They're like a bye week.
Yeah, but I took it personally because I'm from here, man. Like,
Right.
and though I didn't go to Central, man, it's just a level of pride with
Take pride in the city.
Yeah, with the city, right? You know what I'm saying? And so it kind of used to just hurt me. So I always kept my eyes on it. So when I found out the job came open, I kept my eyes on it. And really, I called Coach Daniels, man. I'm just be honest. I called Coach Daniels. And Coach Daniels didn't hit me back. He didn't even answer. So I was just, and Coach Daniels was my head high school football coach. I'm just being honest. He was my head high school football coach. So I called Coach Daniels, man. And Coach Daniels was like, he didn't give me nothing. And so my head coach, Keith Pimple, like he said, you talked to Coach Daniels? He said, I don't see why you wouldn't be like one of the top candidates for that job. He was like, you're young, you're perfect. He was like, you've been in Texas, this, that, another. You're from the city, you understand the landscape. I was like, I'm thinking the same thing, coach. I'm like, but nah. He's like, did you apply? I was like, nah. I said, because if Coach Daniels wanted me to apply, he would tell me.
Tell you.
Yeah, he'd tell me. So I didn't apply. I didn't apply. And so at that point, like, Mark this was the first go round. He was thinking about trying to get the Seven Hills job that time when it came open. But they ended up not giving to him because I thought we were about to go head to Seven Hills, right?
Okay.
And that ended up not happening. But
he's trying to get Seven Hills
beforehand, yeah.
Okay.
So when the coach
you really wanted to be in Seven
Hills. Yeah, when Coach Hill left and went to El Dorado, we just kind of just looked at Seven Hills like, oh, yeah, it can be something get built over there. Like they got facilities. Yeah, man. So it's always attractive. And, Mark was my boy. So like, hey, if that's what we're going to do, cool. So that was happening. That ended up not happening. Simultaneously, Quad Sanders.
Coach Sanders.
He gets the job in Jonesboro.
Yep.
In Jonesboro. All right. Quad calls me.
Where you made your name.
Yeah. I'm familiar with Jonesboro. This is a second home. So I go up there and interview. I get the job. So, there's a point in me and TC, Coach George at Jonesboro High. We talk about this. We was like, oh, it was about to be me, you, and Quad, all on one staff. And we're all head coaches now.
And a few months later.
Right. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, right. So I was going to be the OC. Yeah, I was going to be the OC. TC was going to be the DC. Quad was going to be the head coach. And that's what we was going to have going on up there. And really, I was, I had talked to the superintendent and stuff. She was good with it. She knew my old college head coach, Coach Roberts. Talked to him. She said, he speaks so highly of you. Like, we got to hire you, right? So they was like, just let us know when you can get, down here, or if we need to send you, the contract and you can sign it and fax it back to us. So at this time, I'm coaching track. This is why I'm coaching track at Conway. We won the 4x1 state that year too, by the way. You know, this is my first year coaching track, and I coached wrestling prior to that as my second sport. But Coach McGee, the AD here, he comes and he rolls up on me at the conference track meet out there in Bryan. He's like, "Are you Anthony Robinson?" I was like, "Yes, sir." He's like, "There's a lot of people been mentioning your name. I was just kind of wondering, did you know that this is how I think they had hired a guy out of Texas, and then he ended up turning it down, and I think they was possibly about to hire another person, and whatever happened, the deal didn't go through." And he said, "Did you know that we opened the gig back up?" I was like, "Honestly, I didn't." I said, I'm in the middle of, I'm about to sign this contract and go to Jonesboro. You know, I'm about to go down here, this, that, and other. He's like, "Well, before you sign that contract, would you be willing to come in and do an interview?" And he's like, "Here's my number, just give me a call." So I called him. I was like, when will we do the interview? This, that, and other. Boom, boom, boom. He was like, well, we need you to fill out the app. We need you to apply first. So I went and applied, man. And I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I'm gonna keep it all the way above. At first, this I had witnessed how broken it was, man. And like I said, I this was a job that I had my eye on, but at first I kind of felt slighted, right? Just because, I felt like, I coached out there in Lancaster. We went to regional finals, semifinals. We was going 4th round, 5th round. We was top 10 team in the 5A big school. Then I come back, coach at Conway. We semifinal team.
Yep.
So I'm kind of thinking like, man, I'm from Little Rock, man. Like how am I not like even consider
about it?
Yeah, I'm just saying how am I not even in consideration? Because like at the time, my old high school head coach was the AD, right? So I'm just like, man, what? So I slept on it, and man, what hit me was, once again, what if God made old boy decide that he didn't want the job? What if God made sure that deal didn't happen? What if he cleared space for something that's supposed to be yours? So when I decided to do the interview, man, like I had done interviews prior to this where I felt like I ain't do so well or could have done this better. Man, I was ready, right? I had been sharpening my iron. I was ready, man. And I went in there and man, and I just, it's so easy to interview when I had a job in Conway. I got a new job in Jonesboro, right? And now I'm going for this job. So it's like, I got options. So, it take a lot of that pressure off of you. But, as I'm really thinking about it, man, I was just thinking about like what it could really be, man. And like, it's bigger than me and how, you know what I'm saying? This is such a passion project, man. Cause I'm gonna just tell you, bro, I mean, obviously I want to win because winning changes things. But the thing is, change hearts and minds, right? And I tell people this all the time, man. If I could change these boys, right? And then they go into the school and each one of them change their pie, right? And then their pie changes a few more. So now we change the school building, right? So now that's trickling out into the community and we change the community a little bit. Now we being impactful and we sparking something that when people thought Central was dead and couldn't come back, now we breathing life back into folks. Now we got a little bit of pride popping back up. Now we got the city cranked up. Like I love what Parkview done, man. I thought it was awesome because I'm a Little Rock guy. Like, so them winning like they was winning, I loved it, right? But I was like, what if we do it at Central? You know what I'm saying? Like that's the Mecca. You know what I'm saying? My boy Todd out there at Sock, he called Sock the Mecca. I feel like Central is the Mecca right here.
Y'all should get some Searcy.
You feel what I'm saying? So like I'm like, what if we?
That's the Searcy.
Yeah, the Mecca. Like man, what the
built South Clip, man.
I know. I seen it when it happened, because he came up under Coach Samples, which Coach Samples is at Duncanville. So Todd is a Coach Samples descendant, right? And like I said, I was in that. We used to all do clinics together. All the African American coaches used to all do clinics together with Carlos Lynn out there at Cedar Hill. You know what I'm saying? When he was coaching at Cedar Hill, he out there at Crowley now. So
Hold on. If y'all don't understand what he's talking about,
yeah,
I need y'all to go do some research. When you talk about Duncanville,
yep,
when you talk about Crowley, when you talk about North Crowley, when you talk about Cedar Hill,
yeah.
Lancaster,
Soto.
DeSoto, these are just not, I'm sorry, Sock as well.
Yeah.
These are just not top teams in Texas.
Nah, eighth in the nation.
These are top teams in the nation.
Yeah.
These are top teams in the nation. When I talk about, like, when I say that they have kids who look like grown men, college players, and again, Duncanville doesn't have the best facilities.
Yeah.
It's a huge school.
Yeah.
It is huge. But they develop.
Yeah.
You look at kids like Decorian or from like it's Duncanville. You look at kids like Booby Feaster, that's from DeSoto. I can't think of the young man last year from North Crowley that went to like Colorado. They got a receiver coming out now. Champ is what. Go look up these schools that he's talking about.
Oh yeah,
and you will see the tradition and the heritage that Coach Robinson is talking about when he talk about those 6 schools, right?
Yeah, I mean, just even at Lancaster alone, man. Keytron Jackson, who played receiver at Arkansas for a stint.
Yep.
He was a Lancaster guy. He ended up going to Roy City, but he was a Lancaster guy when I was there. You know, Snacks Johnson, Larondo Johnson, he was a Lancaster guy when I was there. You know, so yeah, he played 12 over there. So I coached them dudes. You know what I'm saying? So you know, just watching some of the best. JJ was the quarterback at Duncanville. You know, before he changed to running back in Utah, and then ended up coming here and being a running back here. So all them dudes came up in that area right there, man. So you know, just coaching with those coaches, man, and being around those kids, man, you seen an elite level talent. And so, yeah, that was that, man. That was that. But like I say, here at Central, man, I just think that if we wake up the city, man, I think we can not only change the city, but we can change the state. Because for me, man, I think there's so much negative connotation about like inner city schools and public schools, man, that, you know, we got to change the narrative. You know, anytime something bad happens, we push that narrative, right? You know, people like, oh, that school's so dangerous. Man, we got like 2,500 kids here, right? It's about 100, maybe 150 that don't want to always do right. That's less than 10% of this school community.
That's what gets.
That's what they don't talk.
What brings the news down.
Yeah, they don't talk about
lockdown.
Yeah, they don't talk about the kids and making perfect ACT scores. They don't talk about the National Merit College. They don't talk about, if you come to our game on a Friday night, how diverse our student section looks. They ain't talking about that. So I think Central is like one of the last of a dying breed, man, where it has so much diversity from not just black and white, but the Indian community, the Asian community, you know, just the Latino community. I just think that, man, if we get things going here, man, this is like a great way to show what true belief can do, right? So it's like bigger than football for me. Like football is the platform, but changing hearts and minds of the school, the community, and the city is really what it is. And then, like I say, man, you know, Quad's doing a hell of a job. Coach Luke is doing a hell of a job. Yeah, you know, these coaches are doing a hell of a job, man. But normally, you know,
you got to face him.
Yeah. You know, but normally, you know, when you look like we do, they give you something broken, and you gotta fix it. You know, so we're breathing life back into this thing, but like it's because it's bigger than ball with me, man. Like I'm a made man, if you know what I'm saying. Like I ain't really trying to get no clout or no accolades off these kids, man. I just want to teach them how to be better men. I want to show them that no matter your circumstance, you can pull yourself up by your bootstraps and decide your destiny. One of the things I always say, and Bo will tell you, I say, if I can show you how to get $1 million, would you listen? And they, I said, if I can show you how to get $1 million, would you listen? And I said, and that may not necessarily be literally, but what I'm saying is, I'm trying to teach you how to have $1 million mindset.
I can set you on the path.
Right. And at the end of the day, then you got to be willing to listen and follow. And so you say you will, but the moment it gets hard, you stop listening. And that's what we do in life sometimes. Like things get hard. We stop chasing that dream. We stop chasing that goal. It's a piece of gold in the ground and we stop digging right before we about to get that piece of gold. And so and you know, we talked earlier about, you know, you was talking about pivotal moments, right?
Yes.
If you want to dive into that, we can go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to ask you this first.
Yep.
Because this may lead into this. Can I keep it real with you?
Yeah.
I told Bo this at the beginning of the year.
Yep.
I had Central as one of my top 10 7A teams. I'm like, Bo, y'all done got players in. Like, you know, y'all got some good returning players. In 7A, you just got to win 2 conference games, bro.
Yep.
You got to win 2.
Yep.
And you win the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, Bo, you got Kennedy coming in. You got his brother. You got my guy, Drew. I hate Drew towards ACL, too.
Right. That was a devastating blow.
Oh, man. Yeah, I had Trey, a kid that I got to coach and love a lot. My guy, Uno Field.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Micah. Yeah, I had Stackhouse, a couple other kids who had moved in from out of state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had the DBs. What happened to where the season didn't go as planned? Because like I was telling Bob, I'm like, bro, y'all went from what I thought. Again, I can't say something on the pod that I don't tell you.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Yeah, I didn't have y'all pick to beat Brian and Conway because that's gonna take some time. But I'm like, Bo, y'all got Little Rock, y'all can beat them, y'all can get Cabot. A tough game. I know North Little Rock is having to rebuild even though Bolden came over. But what happened from when the non-conference y'all won 2 games and then conference it just seemed to not working out, right?
So I'm just gonna be honest, man. Like and my coach, I told my coach.
And then hit me with the pivotal moment, like it's well in there.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be honest, man. Like I feel like I told my coach, I said, we extremely underachieved because, you know, going into the year, I told him, I said, I believe we can be 5-5, 6-4 easy. I said, and if we play these cards right, we can go 7-3, right? Just because some teams were down, that typically weren't down. But I'm gonna be honest, and like I say, I gotta keep it all the way a buck, man. And like I say, I rarely make excuses, right? But I have to take into account as the year has gotten behind us, and I really go back and evaluate and try to figure out what was going on. You know, like you said, Drew getting hurt, tearing his ACL. That was that. We lost Drew. We lost J-Rock. And I lost one of my tackles, you know, due to some off the field issues, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. But not even just that, man. So we going through summer workouts, right? We're going through summer workouts. And I knew it was gonna be tough. So a lot of people don't know this. Like we talked about this beautiful weight room. This is what people don't know. In May of 2025, we got kicked out of the dungeon. So we couldn't work out over there. They kicked us out of the dungeon. They cut the power off because they were working on the baseball field. So we basically was doing jailhouse workouts. You know, we didn't have any platforms. You know, you can't really do a lot of weight-bearing lifts. You know, you can't put a lot of weight on your back. You know, we got 4 kids to a station. We got 2 kids lifting the bar up, 1 kid in the middle, and we just got benches and bump, right? Just trying to get it as best as we can, right?
Get out the mud.
Yeah, just trying to get out the mud. And so that happened, man. And where we're thinking in August, you know, we were gonna get all this stuff. This stuff didn't get in until mid-October. So if you really
definitely behind that.
Yeah, so when you study the science of football, man, we're in the 7A Central, right? So our first game out the gate is Bryant, you know, and then like I say, we played PA, which were down, but they still came in here ready to compete. We played Christian, which I like both those games. I felt like we had a shot. We should have. I felt like we would have snuck a win out of one of them, either PA or Little Rock Christian. Um, Conway was always gonna be a tall task. They ahead of the curve. North Little Rock, I felt like that game should have went better. But we had a kid ejected from the game. You know, uh, and then J Rock got hurt in that game, and by this time we're down Andrew. Andrew, man, was such an emotional leader for the team, man. Like, and I could feel it when he kind of got hurt. Like,
Passion.
yeah, everybody else kind of deflated with him. Now, everybody believe in Bryson's skills and know what he does.
But he's young.
He's still young.
Yeah.
So, it's gonna come with certain things, but I think he had a hell of a year as most freshmen, man, that'd just be too overwhelming, man. You know what I'm saying? It's only two kids, I mean, that him and Moody, man, the two kids that, yeah, man, those two kids, man, just, dogs as freshmen, right? But no, man, I think when we lost some of those guys, man, it kind of deflated us. Like I say, not to make excuses, man, the injury bug bit us. And we just, if you ain't ready, God ain't gonna give you what you ain't ready, right? And so I don't think mentally we were ready. Like, and I'm just gonna be all the way honest. Like, we made strides. We made big time strides. But there was still a level of the culture being it's lame to be a try hard. And it's cool to be mediocre. And sometimes that's really hard because that's it's really deeply rooted inside of your deal, right? And so, if you don't have a player-led team, man, in moments of adversity, they hadn't done a lot of winning. So mentally, I just don't think we were prepared to get over that hump quite yet, right? Because they weren't there yet. We just coming off of practicing on 50 yards of field. We just coming off of working out in the dungeon, and like I say, working out there on the turf, with 4 men to a station trying to get it in, but we can't put the 400 that we normally would on somebody back 500 because them jokers ain't gonna be able to get that up, and it's dangerous without a platform. So when you talking about injury prevention and just getting used to weight bearing stuff, so you can take those hits throughout the year, I think that cost us, man, and really, and I took ownership of this, man. We tried to dilute it as much as we can, but with that being the way we had to work out, it created a level of chaos, right? And the way you do one thing is the way you do all things. And I think that level of chaos, when things went bad in games, all that would show up. And so me as a head coach, I had to really do a deep dive on how to eliminate anything that can cause us to be chaotic, right? And with having this new stuff and being able to get them all in here and lift at the same time, because even when we was in the dungeon, we have to do half outside, half inside. But now we in here and we get to live together and bring team camaraderie and hold everybody accountable at the same time. Like, it's just different. Like, you can feel it already. But definitely felt like we underachieved, man. Like, I felt like we should have been a playoff bound team. I felt like it was gonna pop in year 3. I definitely thought it was gonna pop in year 3. Especially like with Andrew, because if we got Andrew, man, some of the things he can do with the ball in his hands, some of the things he could do on defense.
You love to run the RPO.
Yeah, exactly. So
and Andrew,
right, yeah. So we lost pretty much 2 players. We lost a real good offensive player, and we lost a defensive player as well in that. And then, like I said, we lost a couple of other kids due to some things, and it just threw off the chemistry. And man, I think the chaos of the summer. Also, we had to practice at Hall during fall camp because we couldn't practice over here. I think all that stuff it accumulated, and by the time we got, like I say, you go through Bryant, and then you go through that deflating loss of PA, which if we don't give up 2 onside kicks early, it's a different game. But we stormed back, we stormed back and tie the game up in the 3rd quarter. But I think that's just where that mindset kicked in. Like, oh, we ain't never been here before. Oh, scary. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And learning how to finish, it takes time sometimes. And like the thing is, we had some kids in, but we ain't have a lot of kids in. The core of my team has always just been the babies that we got and the babies that we pulled out the hallway. That's really what it was.
So how are you working on transforming that mindset now? Because Bryson is a year older.
Yeah.
Trey's a year older. I know Micah is gonna possibly be a lead receiver next year. And so the offense seems to be set in place. You still got some really good pieces on defense, rest of the secondary, and on the line.
Yeah.
How are you working to fix the deficiencies that you've seen last year and make sure they don't hinder you out this year?
Well, man, the best thing about this group, man, and what got me really excited, man, we got a senior class that have been with me their entire time at Central.
From ninth grade to
ninth grade up, all they know is me. And I can already see it. Like, whereas we had senior class that may treat a kid, like, man, you lame, you trying to go too hard. The senior class I got now, if you ain't doing it Coach Rob way, like you going against the grain, like, Coach, get him up out of here. Like, do something with him.
So they holding everybody accountable.
Yeah, do something with him, right?
Okay.
So we at that point now, you can just see it. And then, like I say, man, the energy level, man, and the morale is just high, man. What we got to do is, man, winning begets winning, right? Once we learn and, each year, even though that was a bad year, we still have progressed each year, right? So now once we get over that one hump, and instead of just being survivors and being conquerors, then we'll do that. And I think that we got some tough games early that's gonna get us ready for the conference, win, lose, or draw, that we'll know where we stand and how do we maximize our team when it comes to conference. And like I say, man, when I got here, we had 39 kids. 39 kids.
You can't win like that in 7 days.
39. By the time we got to that season, I think we probably had about 82 kids in the whole program, and this is 9th through 12th. I'm gonna just say this: we did our tally of all the guys we got working out with our seniors removed. Man, we got 122 kids in all season. 122, right? And so that's 122 before the 50-something freshmen pull up and come on campus. So we looking at having about 165 kids in the program, which is like just that alone. Now we got some competition, and now when you compete, everybody gets better, right? So I just think the level of competition is gonna go up. The level of accountability is going up because everybody in the building knows me, even with the coaches. All the coaches have been with me for a while right now, so everybody knows how I want things because I'm a high energy coach.
I see why you and J-Mo get along.
Yeah. I'm a high energy, but I give quick coaching cues. We gonna get to it. I love them up, and when you love them, they allow you to coach them. So we lead with love, and I just feel like we're in a really good space. Like I said, last year was very taxing mentally because I do feel just like you felt. I felt like we underachieved. I didn't know what number but I felt like we could have got 5th seed, or sneak a 4th seed, something like that. If we can could have held it together. But when you don't have success, right, and you go through that gauntlet,
It's where people have pegged you to have
right.
success.
But at the end of the day, everybody we play in our first 4 games are all state champions or been in the semifinals. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
We come out the gate with Brown, state champion. PA have been state champion. Little Rock Christian, state champion. You feel what I'm saying? And then Conway, which is a semifinal team, right? And then you come off of that, and like I say, if you watch the first half of the North Little Rock game, that game go either way. But then the bottom fall out because we dropped the 3 games prior. So now I feel like the same old. Yeah, I feel like the same old. And if we can push past that barrier, which I feel like we're there, then we're going to be all right.
So this year, with realignment and everything, everybody got to pick new non-conference opponents.
Mm-hmm.
You have 2 current state championship teams that you are having to go up against in Robinson and Bryant.
Right.
And you almost had the opportunity to coach with Quad.
Mm-hmm.
But what are something that you look at those 2 programs and say, okay, I'm going to have my program winning like that?
Yep.
eventually? And also, do you think that what's your ETA on? I know most coaches gonna say now.
Well. The honest man, I think we went through the dirty part. I feel like, man, I do have expectations to be a playoff team. And the biggest thing here, man, Central wasn't competing at first. You know what I'm saying? So we figured out how to compete because we competed in most games. Now we got to figure out how to finish. And I'm gonna tell you, man, if you really want to go deep into it, programs like Joe T, programs like Robinson, programs like Conway, even programs like Cabot, man, the biggest difference is parent involvement and engagement and support, right? When they go places, it's a family affair, right?
Yeah.
Like so if
Robinson's definitely got better at traveling.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right. And so when you got everybody at the games and everybody watching and everybody being involved and you got a community that's getting tight knit, now not only are we as coaches holding kids accountable,
the
community is holding kids accountable. And then now, okay, that's not the standard. We go hard. And if you don't go hard, you can get gone. And then, like I say, one of the biggest things is numbers, man. Like, it's so hard to cut kids when you only got 50. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like you trying to
barely run a 2.
Yeah. You try you trying to, help them get through it because they learn like this is a culture shock what I got going on. The standards that I'm bringing in from Lancaster, Conway and stuff. It's like, hold up. This dude, we hadn't been and that ain't just the kids, that's the parent. What, you want us to get up early? Yeah. You want us to, yeah. I want him here.
This is the standard of week. Like,
yeah,
I remember with Josh and like in
Jordan?
No.
Oh.
My Josh. So I remember with Josh and Justin, there's times where Coach is calling up.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, y'all got 5:30 in the morning practice.
Right.
Hey, Dad, I need you to drop me off at the Champion Center at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock in the morning for what?
Right.
We got practice. Bruh, it's February. What you mean?
Yeah, right. But as a parent, if you want to get if you want your child to have the best opportunity to succeed and get an opportunity, you buy in.
Yep.
Right? And so once you buy in and everybody buys in, instead of questioning, man, why? You question why, but then we ain't got everybody bought in and the results ain't the way that you want it to be, it goes right back to y'all not buying in. And so what I'm happy about is that we got some parents now that gets, we got a young group and even this older group, man, these parents are bought in, they believe in what I'm selling. It's a community affair. I can feel it. And just that alone, man, I just think, man, like any team I've ever had success with, it was a family affair. Like if you come to my practice, you're going to see Bo kids running around, Coach Barton kids running around. You might see one or two parents hanging out. Like, I just believe in it, especially as much as we work, we got to have the opportunity for our kids to be around, see us do what we do because we don't get a lot of time to spend with our families, right? So I believe in the family deal and everybody around here starting to buy in. And then like the thing too is, man, we had to change the narrative in the school bill. Like those kids go to class and your teacher don't believe in you and the kids don't believe in you.
So you don't
believe. So you stop believing in you, right? And so now we finally got people where people expect us to be successful. They believe in it. They think we can be successful. You got people that's loving us up. And so those things, man, and so the whole thing is just better now. And like I say, only the Lord knows what's gonna happen, but if you can tell me the difference from now and last year, the morale, the energy, the accountability, it's all 10 times better.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask you a few more questions and get you up out of here, Coach.
Yeah, that's all good.
When your offense, you're gonna have a part-time returning starter.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have one of the top running backs, not in the state, but in the nation, in Trey Stewart. Matter of fact, congratulations to Trey.
Oh, yeah.
He just got invited to the opening for the Nike camp that they are bringing back. I'll tell you about that off camera. But tell me a little bit about Trey and how does he make the game a little bit easier? Well, how does he make it easier for you to call certain plays knowing what kind of back that you have in him? And tell me a little bit about Bryson, because everybody looks at him, class 2029, he's going to be not only the top quarterback, but the top player. And so now you have two top players in different classes. Yeah. And so tell me a little bit about those kids, though.
Man, Trey, man, like, you know, we knew he was special in the 9th grade, right? You know, this joker started playing varsity like 5th game of the season. We put him in on D-line. People don't know he led the team in tackles for loss and sacks as a defensive end in the 9th grade. And the times we gave him the ball, he broke for 50 or broke for a touchdown in games, you know, at the end of his freshman year, right? And then his sophomore year is when he started to realize, like, oh, I can do this at a very high clip. You know, big time hooper, man. Big time hooper. But still hooping. But the thing that he allowed me to do is just be able to put him at different places. The man can rush the ball, he can catch the ball, and the dude can do anything, man. Like he has the ability to make people miss. Like people don't really give him a lot of credit for his elusiveness. Yeah. This joker got quick jerk movements that make people miss all the time if you watch the film. And yeah, man, he's a big play guy, man, and so you know teams got to be account for him at all times. And what that's going to do, not only will he still very good out because he's just special, man. He makes 2 and 3 guys miss all the time, but they try to bring more guys down in the box, man. That's going to allow us to go over the top, man. And I got 2 guys coming up, man, that are really special, like Aiden Kennedy. He's going to be a junior, and then you got Michael Frazier, who you talked about. And, you know, Christopher Ross is over here now, too. It's like, and he'll probably be a slot receiver for us, man. And a couple other guys. So, you know, we just going to have some weapons and some dudes that catch the ball and go to the crib with it, man. You know, regardless of that, the biggest focus is making sure that our dudes in the trenches, man, are physical at the point of attack. And so if those guys are doing that, I think Trey will have a phenomenal season just because, man, the game's going to slow down so much to him. This is his first time going through actual football all season because he's normally hooping right now. So he'll do that. And then the thing is, we got Bryson back there too, right? So Bryson can run, he can throw as well. And with him coming in his second year, the game's gonna slow down to him. He's gonna have more control of the offense. I could tell toward the end of the year he started getting way more comfortable. That was the thing, you know, when Drew went down, it forced him to grow up really, really fast.
Yep.
And sometimes, you know, no matter how good you are, it's just some of those freshman things that are going to happen. You know, no knock to him because, like I said, I think he was phenomenal. But, man, when you got a kid that can throw it 65 yards, you know, you got a kid that can throw dots in traffic, I think those 1-2 tandem is just going to be, it's going to be hard to deal with. So I'm really excited about those two, especially what I like to do. If Bryson takes off and runs, man, you know, like that Cam Newton type, he'll fall forward for 3 yards.
So he's a big kid.
Exactly. Very, very big. So if he just goes north and south, man, he'll fall forward for 3 yards. Also, he can throw on the move. So when you talking about RPO offense, if he pulling, you don't know whether he gonna run it, whether he gonna throw it. So you gotta account for all that. And what that takes away from is people just lining up, blitzing us, and going man. They gonna have to stay in zone, and you know if they stay
not in the box.
Exactly. So if they stay a little bit more zone, now he becomes a sharpshooter. You know, he can throw to a spot really, really well.
So I'm gonna let you go on this, Coach. I actually reached out to Trey.
Mm-hmm.
I talk to Trey every now and then. And I asked him, I said, hey, I'm interviewing your head coach today. And I asked him a question. And let me find it. So I said, Trey, I'm interviewing your coach today. What do you like about Coach Robertson? He said, I like how he always keeps it real with me. He never sugarcoats anything and never let me lack, and he always on my butt. And the trust he has for his players and in myself in a game, just overall believing in me and being a great coach since my freshman year. We're going to end it on this note, Coach. What does that mean when not only just one of your players, but one of your leaders and one of your standout players says that about you, Coach?
Man, this is it actually makes me proud, man. Trey doesn't talk a lot, right? You know, he's one of those dudes right now. We're just working on him speaking more. He's always been a leader with his actions, right? And I told him, I said, Trey, if you hold people accountable, nobody's gonna say anything back to you, right? So him saying that lets me know that not only does he believe in me, that he's buying in to what I've been telling. You know, I told him freshman year, I said, basketball, you're gonna be a very good high school basketball player. I said that, but you can go make a ton of money and get free education playing football. Correct. And, you know, sometimes kids don't buy into that. And I think since we've had those conversations and our relationship just been growing, man. And he's just one of those kids, man. He's very easy, you know, going, whatever you do, coach, you know, give me the ball. If he look at me and say that, like, I'm giving him the ball because he will go get whatever you ask him to go get. Or, you know, you put him in positions of adversity, he could turn games around. Any game that we have won in the last 2 years have been on the backs of Trey Stewart. So, man, I'm elated and ecstatic that that kid is growing as he is and that he's talking like that because I know we're doing something right.
Coach, this has been amazing. We definitely going to have to chop it up again before the season starts, probably like sometime after spring ball. But what's your imparting words to coaches who look like us, who grew up like us in the neighborhood? What's your imparting words for them to whether it's football or whether it's just whatever goals they're trying to reach in life?
Mm-hmm.
What's your words of inspiration to them?
Oh, man, first and foremost, man, put God at the head of everything you do. Don't make any decisions based off money. Don't stay anywhere because of kids. Don't go anywhere because of kids. You have to do it because God is God led. And then the thing is, you got to have undeniable faith in oneself. You're gonna always encounter doubters. You're gonna always encounter haters. But at the end of the day, like we always have done, you gotta have thick skin. I just pray for everybody that's coming into this game. It's hard, but it's fair. But at the end of the day, if you believe in yourself first and you keep God on your side, you can accomplish anything you set your mind out to do.
Again, Coach, I appreciate the game. I appreciate the wisdom. I definitely hope y'all listen to everything that he said from the beginning to his story to where he's continuing to write his story at now. We're going to lock in again. I can't wait to actually come out here and be on the sidelines. Don't get me wrong, I love Robinson, but my kids have graduated from Robinson, so I'm no longer tied to just being at Robinson on Friday nights. So I've already told kids at Bryan and Ben and Robinson and other places that I know that I'm going to come check out some of y'all games. So I can't wait to be on the sideline, just get to see everything up close and personal. I'm proud of where you come from. I'm proud of where you're at. I'm even proud of where you're about to go, man. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to have y'all preseason top 10 again.
Hey, keep believing.
Don't do me dirty.
Hey, keep believing, brother. Keep believing, brother.
I told Jay, I said, y'all did me dirty last year. Hey,
Keep believing, brother.
don't do me dirty this year, man. But again, I appreciate everything. Hey, y'all, again, tap in. Remember, like, follow, subscribe, repost. We definitely going to drop clips because Coach dropped a lot of gems in this interview. Go watch the previous interviews. And again, man, we're going to wish Coach the best of luck this season. And as I always tell y'all when we sign it off, why keep it 100 when you can keep it a G, baby? And we out of here. Salute. Appreciate it, Coach.
Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you. For sure. We out, baby. more amazing content and sports interviews and cultural conversations that you've just seen, please follow us on YouTube at Keeping It a G. That is Keeping It a G on YouTube. Please like, comment, follow, subscribe, and run up that hype. And also support our live on Instagram every Thursday night at 7:30. You can find our live at DEG1180 and Keeping It a G. Again, that is on Instagram, DEG1180 and Keeping It a G. And again, why keep it 100 when you can keep it a G?